Chad McFarland had never feared the woods. He'd grown up camping, hiking, and wandering forests so thick that daylight barely touched the ground. But on this trip alone, miles from the nearest ranger station, something felt off from the moment he stepped past the tree line. By the second night, a cold fog rolled in without warning, swallowing the forest floor. His flashlight beam barely pushed through it. Every sound felt too close. Branches snapped in patterns that almost sounded deliberate. When he woke on the third morning, his compass spun uselessly. The trail he'd marked had vanished, and the fog, it hadn't lifted at all. He walked until his legs burned, until the sun dipped behind the pines, until exhaustion forced him to sit. But the moment he leaned against a tree, the ground under him gave way with a wet crack. Chad plummeted. He hit something hard, a slope that sent him sliding into darkness before he finally slammed onto cold stone. His flashlight flickered, then steadied. That was when he realized he wasn't in a cave. He was in a room, a massive underground chamber stretching farther than his light could reach, and every direction was filled with coffins. Hundreds, thousands, millions stacked in impossible towers like a forest of the dead. Chad's breath caught. Every coffin was made of black wood, bound with tarnished metal bands and etched with symbols he didn't recognize. The air smelled of soil and something older, something rotten beneath time. He whispered to himself, "This can't be real." Then, somewhere in the darkness, something clicked. A coffin lid creaked open. Chad froze as a hand action, thin as bone, gripped the edge of the lid and pushed. Slowly a figure sat up. The man, if you could call it that, had skin stretched tight over sharp cheekbones, eyes black and gleaming like oil. His mouth opened slowly, revealing rows of long, needle-like fangs that glinted in the flashlight beam. The creature smiled. "You shouldn't have come here," it hissed, its voice like dry leaves scraping together. Chad stumbled back, his flashlight trembling in his grip. All around him the other coffins began to stir, their lids rattling, shuddering. Click, 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 click. Millions of coffins awakening. The creature climbed out of its box with slow, hungry grace. It lowered its face to his, fangs brushing the air between them. "You're the first living soul we've seen down here in a very, very long time." The last thing Chad heard before the flashlight finally died was the sound of millions of coffin lids opening in unison. And the whisper, "Welcome home."